Today on Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up here in the Big Ten in Week 11 of this 2021 college football season. And it'll be over the Michigan Wolverines and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Huge matchup for both these teams heading into Week 11. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Michigan in their last game beat Indiana. 29-7 was the final score there. So overall, solid win for Michigan. I mean, Indiana is a struggling football team right now, which has been a big surprise. I expected the Hoosiers to be a good football team this season with all the talent that they do have, but obviously injuries have plagued the Hoosiers this season. But for Michigan, they took advantage of it, got the win, and they did what they needed to do, and they're still 8-1, so they do have 8 wins now on the season, and they remain in the top 10 of the AP poll at number 9 as of right now. And Michigan, this team did unfortunately lose to Michigan State a couple of weeks ago, so obviously a tough loss for the Wolverines against the Spartans there. But Michigan, this is still a football team. Do not count out the Wolverines quite yet. I mean, this team can still get to the college football playoff. It is very much in reach considering how many insane upsets we've seen in this college football season. Anything can happen for one. And for two, I mean, if you look at your schedule remaining, you've got a good Penn State team here. I mean, if you can beat Penn State here, I mean, Penn State should be ranked in the top 25. At least I've got them ranked. The AP poll has them ranked at 23. We'll see what the committee thinks. But, yeah, so this would be a quality win here on the road. And then, of course, you got Ohio State here in a few weeks as well in their last regular season game. And if you win that game, you should be set up in the Big Ten championship game against a Big Ten West opponent, which is more than likely pretty beatable. So, yeah, Michigan, this is a football team that is very much still alive, potentially for a college football playoff bid. But obviously, you got to win out the rest of your games. Even if you take one loss, you are out of contention for the college football playoff. So lots at stake here for Michigan, especially in this game. Penn State is out of contention for the college football playoff. They've taken 3 losses in their last 4 games. They did beat Maryland in their last game. Solid win there. 31-14 was the final score. So yeah, overall, not a bad win at all, especially considering Maryland. I mean, Maryland's a pretty good football team, and they should be getting to a bowl game this season. So not too bad. I mean, that was a solid performance out of Penn State. They were 6-3 heading into this matchup with a 1-game winning streak. Game will be on Saturday, November 13th in University Park. So Penn State is the home team, and it'll be a noon Eastern time game. Spread currently has Penn State by 1. So Nittany Lions are favored in this matchup, although it is a very close spread as expected. Over/under 48.5. And your FPI is going Michigan 54.4%. So expected to be a lower scoring Big Ten matchup here, for which it totally makes sense. You got 2 very good defenses going head to head here in this matchup. Series history, Michigan does lead it 14-10, but Penn State does have or is having more success in recent history. They've got a 2-game winning streak in this matchup, and in the last 5 they lead it 3-2. Stat comparison for this game, Michigan's got 36 points per game, 16 points allowed, 217 passers a game, 234 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 173 passing, and then 124 for rushing. As for Penn State, 26 points per game, 16 points allowed, 277 pass yards a game, 106 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 213 passing, 137 for rushing. So obviously both defenses allowing 16 points per game. That's an outstanding stat line there. Michigan does have a higher scoring offense, it seems, right now statistically, as they've got 10 more points on average per game so far this season. Recent matchups, of course, Michigan beat Indiana 29-7, lost to Michigan State there on October 30th, 33-37. Obviously, that loss is that was just a tough loss there. I mean, this would be easily an undefeated team, and they'd be probably in the top 4 right now, top 3 potentially, if they beat Michigan State in that game. So, yeah, obviously, just an unfortunate loss. And Michigan, they had that game under control for a little while there, but once again, you got to look forward to the future if you're Michigan, and you got to keep winning your games to give you at least a chance for the college football playoff, which is once again very much still possible for Michigan. Beat Northwestern 33-7, beat Nebraska 32-29, and beat Wisconsin 38-17, which Wisconsin's looking like a pretty good football team now that they've finally started to. I mean, Wisconsin is actually a pretty good football team. They've just had a tough time racking up some wins in the earlier parts of the season, but right now they're probably the best team in the Big Ten West. As for Penn State, beat Maryland 31-14, took 3 straight losses, lost to Ohio State there 24-33, lost to Illinois in 9 overtimes, just a tough loss 18-20. Lost to Iowa 20-23 as well. Did beat Indiana 24-0. Shut out the Hoosiers in that game. Some key points as well here for this matchup. Michigan being 8-1, still in contention for the college football playoff. Got to win this game if you want to keep your hopes alive, though. And either way, I mean, even if you do lose, Michigan is still in contention for a New Year's Six bowl game. But yeah, so lots to play here for Michigan and even Penn State. I mean, you could still definitely get to a good bowl game. It's just a matter of how many games you can win out of your last 3 here. But yeah, so 3 losses in the last 4 games for the Nittany Lions. They look good against Maryland. Overall, that was a solid win, and still a lot to play for once again for the Nittany Lions. So a lot to play for in this matchup. Penn State's got the home field advantage. Certainly should help them in this game. But yeah, definitely a fun one coming up here in Week 11. Always look forward to Michigan and Penn State facing off. But let's get to the prediction. Michigan and Penn State. I'm going to go Michigan 27-24 being the final score. So technically, I'm actually predicting an upset by saying Michigan here because Penn State is favored by 1. But I think Michigan, this is the more talented football team. They've got more momentum right now than Penn State does. Penn State has lost 3 of their last 4. And it looks like after that win against Maryland, I mean, once again, that was a solid win. So Penn State, who knows, maybe they can ride that win into a huge upset win. Well, it wouldn't be an upset, but you get what I mean. It'd be a huge win for them over Michigan. But I've got Michigan getting this game. I think this is going to be a crucial game for them. I mean, who knows? Jim Harbaugh has had a tough time winning the big games in the past. So potentially that could come back to bite again. I mean, that's just been the trend for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. But I'm going to go Michigan here, 55%. It's going to be very close. I may regret picking Michigan for this game. It's basically a coin toss. Either team could easily win this game. But once again, I'm going to go Wolverines here. Over-under is 48.5. I'm going to take the over for this game. Michigan is going to cover the 1-point spread towards Penn State. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching. As always, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.